It's been a year since my last analysis. Last year I was only really comparing 2016 to 2015, but this year I think it's important to compare all 3 years. I regard 2015 as the year of the Philip, when my channels really took off. 2016 was a slow, disappointing year, while 2017 looks to be as good as 2015 again, but in different ways. Really is a fascinating situation to analyse. Let's jump straight into the numbers. Every single one of my channels has gained more views in 2017 than they did in 2016. In fact, they've all even surpassed 2015, which is a bit of a surprise to me. If I split the views per quarter, you can see the boom in 2015, the steady decline in 2016, and then what seems to be a rebirth in 2017. This was helped by a very successful April. All of my channels had videos that outperformed what was expected. Last April is now my most successful month of all time. The summer was rather quiet in comparison, but I was prepared for that. I made the most of the weather and company and explored the world, and so I'm not surprised that my YouTube channels took a hit. I then returned, motivated and eager to hit the Christmas boom, and indeed outperformed 2016 on both 2 and 3 kliksphilip, although didn't quite reach the heights achieved by 2015's Christmas. Subscriber-wise, it's a different story. Despite more views, growth for my largest 3 kliksphilip channel has slowed. This is to be expected though, since it's heavily tied to CSGO's growth, which didn't happen in 2017 due to a burnt out fanbase and from increased competition from other games. kliksphilip also did worse, but still outperformed what I expected considering it took a 4-month break so that I could work on 2 kliksphilip, which appears to have paid off as 2 kliksphilip saw considerable growth over 2016, and I feel it's well deserved since I invested a lot of love into the channel. Although only outputting 1 video a week, each was to a consistently high standard. You never knew what you were going to get from 2 kliksphilip. I tried to keep it fresh, educational and entertaining with each release. So 2017 is a record year for views, but not so good for subscribers, even though a strong performance from 2 kliksphilip still meant that I beat 2016. What did surprise me was that I lost fewer subscribers than in 2016. I thought that as my channels matured and growth slowed, this would be partly due to more people losing interest and unsubscribing. But this hasn't happened. It appears my viewer base has become more stable, which bodes well for my future. What's also good is the number of hit videos I've had in 2017. I tracked how many videos I made reached the top 10, 25, 50 and 100 most viewed for the channel ever, and I've really outperformed how I fared last year. For example, only one of 2 kliksphilip's 25 most viewed videos was made in 2016, compared with 5 this year, and 3 kliksphilip has gone from 1 to 4. You'd expect it to get harder to compete with every year that goes by, since new videos have to compete with an extra year's worth of top content. kliksphilip was the only channel that did worse. But even then, every single video made in 2017, apart from the music videos, reached the top 100 for the channel. So I guess the issue was the lack of content, rather than underperforming stuff. So, all's great for me right now, and I should be very happy. I'm finally accepting my state as a mature channel, rather than one that relies on growth to carry it. For those of you starting out on YouTube, you probably won't see the appeal, but the transition comes with some benefits. Back in 2015, I'd be frustrated if somebody else did well out of a video idea that I hadn't thought up. But I think now, all my videos do well enough for me not to care. I still occasionally make a video that I know is going to be popular, like the PUBG for CSGO one. But more often than not, I choose ideas and topics that I feel like making, even if they might underperform. Ones that may only get 70,000 views on 2 kliksphilip, or that earn 0 monetization like the Source Makes Me Cry video. The reward of doing this is very different too. When I was doing it for success, the satisfaction was short-lived, and it wasn't long before I had the need to one-up the video with an even more successful one. But when I'm making content that I really want to make, I feel the reward is in getting my thoughts out there, and with a timestamp that lets me say, "I told you so," when my prophecies later come true. Years ago, I would carefully analyse my channels in so much depth, but now I feel once a year is enough. I really feel I know my audiences now, and that you guys know me. It's a weight off my shoulders, as is the expectation to succeed. I feel I had a great run already. I don't want it to end, but it's getting to the point now where I'm happy to accept what I've got. It's a bit like when you get a killing spree in a game like Battlefield, achieving more success from a single life than you had any right to. Eventually you're killed, but you're not even mad because you know you've already done more than you could have ever expected to, and are left with a fantastic story to tell. In previous years, I've predicted where I'll be in a year's time. At the end of 2015, when all my channels were doing very well, I predicted that I'd reach 100, 300 and 600,000 subscribers across all of my channels by the end of 2016. This didn't happen since my growth slowed, so I decided to keep the same goals again. In 2017, I managed all of them, overachieving by at least 30%. But while that may sound good, bear in mind it took me 2 years rather than just 1 to achieve it. I think it's safe to say that my progress has picked up pace again. Have my channels changed as they've grown? 3 kliksphilip? Not so much. I'm still doing CSGO content, and that probably won't change. 2 kliksphilip was the real transformation in 2017. I discovered that I could get away with a much broader variety of content, and it regularly extended well beyond the realms of gaming. kliksphilip saw its moment of fame, but I wanted to return to a personal channel full of behind the scenes stuff in my life as a YouTuber. Recently I posted 6 music videos to this channel on the same day. I got complaints about a notification spam and saw the largest spike in unsubscribers this channel has ever seen. I expected this to happen, and even considered other ways of releasing them to avoid this, but couldn't think of any. It's just what happens when you suddenly upload multiple videos to a channel that otherwise doesn't get a lot. The reason I'm mentioning this is because I don't want you guys expecting things from this channel. It is kept free for anything that doesn't belong on the other 2. The moment I start to care what you guys think, this channel will lose its purpose. So I'll continue to treat it as a dumping ground for extra stuff, rather than as an official source of income for the Klik empire. The 4-month break was exactly what I needed, as I came back refreshed and ready to make kliksphilip style content again, minus the pressure I felt before. So I guess now I'll have to predict where I'll be at the end of this year. My gut tells me 720,000 subscribers for 3 kliksphilip. I think I'll have to accept that I may never reach 1 million subscribers, at least not with that channel. 2 kliksphilip may be more likely. It's still nowhere near as big as 3 kliksphilip, but I suspect could rival it for views as soon as sometime this year. And if not, next year. 400,000 looks to be a good minimum target, though 450,000 could be within reach if I find some series that I can produce with reasonable effort. kliksphilip will continue to be an afterthought for me, so I won't even predict it for this year. But I hope that YouTube gives me the option to get a third 100,000 subscriber plaque. It's been several months since I reached the milestone and the dashboard is still blank. At the time, I'm often blind to the progress I'm making, but with hindsight, it becomes clear. The content I made in 2013 was unfocused and childish. I'm ashamed of what I made back then. 2014 saw me discover myself and to stop stealing from other people's styles. 2015 saw great success, but I hate the content since I ended sentences in an annoying manner. 2016 is when I jumped to 4K quality and started polishing my videos properly, but in the process, I lost some of the spontaneous fun element, which I think is to blame for my poor performance that year. So far, I see 2017 as the year I combine the best of everything and consider it my finest work to date. I have no plans to improve on it further, but to simply hone and to refine my style with each video I make. And who knows, if I do it right, then maybe I'll look back and hate 2017. Although gradual, this video it's suddenly hit me how long my YouTube career has been. 2012 is beginning to feel like a very long time ago. That's when I started to consider it as a career. I was still in my early 20s then. Now I'm getting dangerously close to 30. Your 20s are an important stage of your life. You become a proper adult, you settle down, and the choices you make in this period greatly determine the rest of your life. I'm starting to get nostalgic about when I first started out, back when there was uncertainty. Challenges were looming in front of me, and yet I felt safe, protected by what felt like endless motivation to tackle anything in my way. I miss that innocence and childish enthusiasm. With hindsight, it amazes me that I overcame the challenges I faced with that mentality. But it was all just a game to me then, and every new video I embarked upon an exciting adventure into the unknown. I don't see why it can't be like that now, but it just isn't without that same feeling of challenge. Until the day I die, my 20s will be defined by my YouTube career. That's something that can never be taken from me. Most of the time I take it for granted, but occasionally I reflect back and it terrifies me when I realise how close I was to missing this opportunity. That I could still be sat in an office doing something I don't want to be doing, oblivious to what awaited me had I taken that chance on YouTube. This channel has always been used to track my progress, to follow the journey. Behind the scenes, it hasn't always been positive. I don't think it's coincidence that I wasn't particularly successful or happy in 2016. I predicted it would be a hard year, and it certainly was, but in many ways I didn't expect. I hope to talk about it in upcoming videos, now that I have some answers, so stay tuned, and here's to 2018.